through a point on the canvas that corresponds to the projection of the mood onto the canvas.
What didn't come out real well is these are all dots. Every time he makes a dot, they swing this, and he puts its location. So that's what that one is. I wish you could see it, but you can actually see the foreshortening of the loop. You know, you're looking at the neck of it, and, you know.
Yeah, so
I didn't realize it didn't come out as well, but that's all like dots. So it looks like a connect the dot drawing. You can see it.
Yeah, so he's creating an instrument to study, you know, what foreshortening is, and to deal with this whole idea of mapping 3 dimensions into 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with perspective, this is like the eye of the viewer.
Yeah,
you know, and everything, you know, is, you know, goes back to that. And I'll just I have that other one I think Hope you mentioned, or one very similar.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the grid that he's looking at the model, and he's got the grid he's doing there. And I know they have, like, when I was young, they had a book. If you wanted to, they put all the little squares in a crazy order, and you do it, and you get the picture. You know, it's, to me, that's what makes me up. Any other questions? I think.
well, I think it's very, very interesting to look at the, you know, the various methods that are being used to come up with sort of these geometrical forms or mappings, and their inaccuracies and their approximations. So that, again, that's an extremely interesting thing, because it also gives you a sense of the problem solving that was going on historically. And you know, I think the way mathematics is taught in general, it feels very cut and dried. But then when you see that people were making observations and trying to come up with ways, again, of mapping and representing.
I love the quote that you said, or the comment about that the art isn't a really true art until the one, that the ratios are done, and then 2, that it's not mathematically sound or something like that. What you were saying, that Dürer was saying early on in the presentation.
Like, it's not a true liberal art until it becomes mathematical.
And it makes me think we gotta
Those were
have
the good old days.
We gotta have the drawing instructors and the mathematicians get together locally, because I took a lot of drawing classes and they did not explain what you were explaining.
I just have one comment. I couldn't help but think of this when I was listening to you talk. Dürer seems to have understood. Every day I am realizing more and more the importance of math to the arts, especially for this course. And when I graduated from music school, there was a full-page ad in the New York Times, and it was from IBM, and it said, "Wanted musicians and mathematicians," and that's who they were looking for to hire, because they thought that musicians had the ability to think mathematically. Of course, I didn't apply, but I think it's really interesting to look at the art and math connection in all the arts, and it's just, this was a really wonderful lecture. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, just as one of the other neat things that's going on at the same time that kind of is during Renaissance, you also get a discussion over tuning systems.
Yes.
And
over
tuning systems.
Tuning instruments.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you have your classical Pythagorean, you know, your 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, and so on ratio, and then you have your Ptolemaic system, which introduces thirds, and then trying to fit everything together. And there's also some neat arguments going back and forth over which system is musically pleasing versus which system is not.
And then enter John Cage.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. It's really, really interesting.